Okay, I thought maybe the best way to kind of take you guys through this one is just to tell you my experience throughout using all these internet providers. That will be including your Afrihost, your Vodacom, your Telkom, I think, as well as Ray, which is the one that kind of used for a pretty long time. Let's just start back from 2019 there. I started using Afrihost. A friend referred it to me and he was like, oh man, just try this thing out. I think it's pretty cool. I went for the deal. I think it was around 300 Rand. Yes, 300 Rand. They offer you like 50 gig. And I think maybe one thing that I had to put in mind was just the coverage. It works in terms of coverage. Like obviously, let's say you're staying in Johannesburg or any other location, these big cities, you probably could be having coverage. But as you go to my hometown, that side, you probably need to just be checking and double checking this coverage stuff. And something to note, it's not a contract. It's not a 30-day, what's the 30-day notice to cancel thing. It's a simple month to month, which means if they happen to just mess up with you, it's at some point along the way, you don't have to wait for the whole 12 months or 13 months or whatever things and then you cancel it. No, you can just cancel it like immediately, and then the changes will apply the next coming billing month. So what happened there, it was, I think the relationship was pretty good with Afrihost. Their services or their support, it was pretty quick. I mean, they used to get the problem solved. I mean, I remember there was a WhatsApp channel that I think it still exists right now, where you need to just tell them, hey, I'm having problems with my network, and somebody just quickly gets back to you and then kaboom, your problem gets solved, right? I really like that. I think to me that was a big win because, you know, for a customer, when you're frustrated, you need somebody to calm you down, to be like, the network will be fine in the next 10 minutes. And obviously you're still gonna wait for another 30 minutes, but the fact that the problem gets solved in a shorter period of time without you as a customer experiencing a very long downtime of your network. So I think maybe just to move it forward, you know, I like trying stuff, right? Then I decided, oh, well, I see this Vodacom here. It looked too good to be true. But then I was like, let me try it out. So what happened was the package that on Vodacom that I chose that time was 50 gig anytime data, and I think it was 30 gig at night, like a 24-month contract. Well, I was comfortable with it at that moment, but until I saw that, okay, looks like the data are getting chowed quicker than I envisioned. I think when I was opening the contract, I asked them, okay, is it possible to cancel this thing in the next 30 days or whatever? They told me it's possible, but then when I called support, they told me, it's not, blah, 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 and maybe the reason why your data is eating faster is because of your network speed. I mean, I sat there and then thought, okay, cool, it's fine. But then they just took me round and round and round and round, obviously until I gave up. Obviously, if I'm giving up, I'm saying I'm giving up with this 24 months. I'll pay it every month, even though I'm not so happy with the data. Cool. Let's roll down during the contract period. At some point, I missed some payments. The only reason was because I got another internet provider to be able to add on top of what Vodacom was giving me already, just because obviously couldn't finish the month, right? And then I missed 2 months, I think, in a row. And then once they told me, okay, you're missing this payment, you need to pay it, whatever, okay, cool, I paid it, but with interest on top of that, just because I missed those 2 months. Fast forward to the completion of my, the contract, I think after, 24 months, after 24 months, then when I went to say, okay, I'm gonna cancel, I don't wanna continue with this contract anymore, I don't wanna renew it. They'll be like, but you still have 2 extra months because you had some other 2 months that you have missed along the way. And then I was like, okay, why do I have to have 2 extra months to add while I have paid interest for that? And from there, that's when they just throw me out. The way the data used to get chowed, it was not impressive to me, because I mean, the very same 50 gig, if I'm to put it on the Afrihost site, I could use more of Afrihost data than I could with Vodacom. So at the end of the day, I felt like instead of 50 gig, that should have just said they're giving me 20 gig, because it looks like the rate at which, I mean, I think it's gigabytes per second. I'm not sure if that's the true word, but it was like pretty something very small. And then, I mean, to me, I would just say from those two, I would definitely go with Afrihost. And with Vodacom, I don't really like the support personally. And I mean, the data, it's not enough. The ordering process between I think Vodacom and Afrihost. With Afrihost, you just go to, I think, to their website, and then you type whatever you want to type, you fill whatever you want to fill, and then you get your stuff, I think, delivered within a few days. And with Vodacom, on the other hand, you obviously have to go to the store. I had to go to the store, fill the papers, sign the what sign out, and you know, they do all those things. Yes, you're waiting, and then you get your package go. With Vodacom, you can use it at almost every place. So that's great because the coverage for Vodacom is everywhere in South Africa. But it doesn't help for me to say I won't be everywhere in South Africa, right? I would just be in a certain place, and I would just want enough network for that certain place, and you get it. After the 24-month contract, I knew that I do not want to be into another contract. So by that time, the options that were available was Rain. Again, I was referred to Rain by a friend, right? And it was offering month to month. And I mean, obviously, which means if you happen to cancel this month, the next month you won't get billed for that. Their network was pretty great, I can tell you. By that time, they were offering things like the 4G. It was before the 5G came in, right? And the pricing was around, I think, 480. And I really liked it because, I mean, for somebody like me who travels, obviously, going home, you could just then use it wherever you'll be staying most of the times. It could be Gauteng, and then whenever you go to any other province like Limpopo or any other province around that you stay at, you could still be able to use it. And that obviously is a good win because you'll be saving some good money on data, other than having to just say, okay, you only use it when you're at a specific place, and then when you go home, you still have to buy data. So I really like it on that way. But then one thing you should always note before you opt for Rain, make sure you check if your area has coverage for either 5G or 4G. Sometimes it could find that, okay, there's no coverage. I mean, there's nothing you can do about it other than just waiting, right? Cool. And then with the Rain story, as time goes on, they introduced, I think, 5G. Yes. Obviously, I have to jump onto the new stuff. I jumped on it. It was great in the first place. But then I didn't like the fact that you have to place it at a certain area. They give you a router, by the way. You have to place it at a certain area, make it face the window or whatever that they suggest to you. And I mean, that is just some nitty-gritties to go through, which I never really liked. Recently, or like 2 months back, it started having problems. And then obviously contact support, I always contact support, and they gave me solutions that obviously never worked. They were like, it's a network issue, maybe they post that and so on, and then it never worked. And then I just decided, okay, I'm gonna cancel this package at this point. And then I moved to a new place, and I decided, let me give them a try. I mean, I've been using these guys for a pretty long time. The first week, the network was just fine, but pretty unstable. And then the week after, then it started dipping, like slowly. I moved straight to Telkom. The reason being is because they offer another month to month. I didn't go for another trip of contracts, month to month. Their package that I'm currently using, it's 350. They give you 180 data that you could use anytime. One thing to note about Telkom, there is something they call spending limit, which is basically a credit on top of your normal package. So for example, I have a deal that I'm paying 350 where I get 180 gigabytes. Should you exceed that 180, your credit could go up to minus 1.5, which is like a credit, and you still have to pay for that amount. And the funny part is, there's no notification or SMS or anybody calling you that you have exceeded your normal usage. You will just get a statement at the end of the month, maybe 1.5 extra that you just have to pay. And for me, the reason or the way I found out was the network just stopped working, and then I phoned them. I was like, what's happening? They were like, yeah, you exceeded your spending limit and you have reached this amount of money, so we won't be giving you network until you pay some sort of a difference so that you can cover up until the end of the month. And advice to you guys, it's when you go and do this month-to-month packages, make sure that the people who are helping you don't open the 24-month for you guys, because I mean, I almost came to that trap at one of the Telkom stores, but then obviously I decided not to continue with that store. And then make sure that as well they set a spending limit to be 0 the moment you're opening that month-to-month deal of yours, because you probably don't want to be spending that much money. That's why you are opting for like these affordable, cheaper deals that Telkom is providing. Yeah, so now we're just gonna do a simple comparison between this thing. Let's go straight to the ordering, right? On the Rain side, you can just do everything at the comfort of your home. You just go to the app, whether on your tablet or your phones or your laptop, you just type everything. You can recap on the app straight away, and then you can just get the courier guys bring your merchandise while you're sitting at home. With Telkom on the other end, you still have to move from your home. You go to the store, then they check the coverage, and you sign a couple of papers, then you get your SIM card, and then you go home, right? I also like the fact that they do have a multi-SIM option where you can just add another SIM card for like 10 Rand. And by multi-SIM, I mean you just basically have one package, let's say 350, but you have multiple SIMs connected to that package, which is kind of great because I mean, let's say I want to use it, maybe my mom wants to use it and somebody else wants to use it, then we could just all be connected to one package and be sharing the data amongst us. But then I don't think on Rain that option is there, or maybe at least let me just say I've never seen that. You might be asking yourself why I would compare an unlimited and a limited data deal. And I mean, it doesn't really make sense, right? Cool. But I'll kind of break it down in terms of numbers. For the Rain, I was paying about 700 Rand. And then for Telkom, I'm kind of paying 250, which is like half of that amount. And to realize, I saw that, okay, I wasn't really using much data because for this Telkom, I could spend like a whole month with just 180. And I've been using it for about 2nd month now. So basically, I was spending the extra 350 for some data that I'm not using. And that just made me realize, okay, cool. Did I really need unlimited, or did I think I need unlimited? When it comes to support, Telkom, I feel like it's a pretty long process because I remember I called them, I think it was on a weekend, and then they told me I need to pay the difference. When I pay the difference, I still have to wait for at least 48 hours for my account to be online again. And that for me, there's a lot of data wasted not being used, you know. So not so happy with that. But then they do answer your calls, right? But so is Rain, they do answer your calls. But Rain on the other hand, I felt like there was no solution. Maybe it was a network problem, maybe it was overloaded and all that. But me as a customer, I don't really want to hear those kind of things, right? I just want to find my network working without any problem. But on a day-to-day use, Rain and Telkom, the upload download speed is like 10 megabytes average for both. But then on the Rain, it's 1 megabyte and 100 megabytes. It's pretty high, but there was no balance. So on Rain, I couldn't really use Zoom or this, you know, video conferencing meetings and uploading stuff pretty well. So I wouldn't really go for Rain in that kind of side. But then on Telkom, there was a bit balance, not wow speeds, but they could do everyday job done right. With that being said, on a day-to-day, I'm using Telkom. Even right now, I'm using Telkom, but I'm open to trying out other stuff. So please leave in the comments what other networks or what other packages you would like me guys to try, and then I will see what I will do about it. Cheers.